Okay, so in this lecture, we'll talk about choosing an appropriate op-amp and comparator for the buck converter. So to quickly recall, this is the buck converter we are studying, and this is the basic, in the dashed line is the basic buck converter, and here is the whole feedback loop. And we've discussed already the gain of 100 amplifier, the unity gain buffer. So today we'll talk about how to choose these two op-amps and these two comparator. What commercial op-amp and comparator to find for your design, which is your second assignment. So let us get on with it. So first we look at the op-amp. We saw last time that for a feedback amplifier, the broad expression is A over 1 plus A beta. And for good operation, we want A beta to be much greater than 1. So we want here for our gain of 100 amplifier, A beta to be much greater than 1. Where beta, or 1 over beta to be precise, is the closed loop gain, which for our amplifier is R2 by R1. And that is 100 because it's a gain of 100. So we want A0 to be much greater than 1 over beta, which is 100. So you want A0 to be much greater than 100. You can pick any value, but let us roughly pick A0 to be greater than 5000. So we are going to look for an op-amp that has a gain of greater than 5000. This is not difficult because most op-amps that are commercially available will have gains actually far greater than 5000, but there are some which don't have. So you have to be careful when you choose the op-amp and look at its specifications. So this is one. We had all, okay, let us look at the duty cycle now. Which is going to affect the voltage levels. So here is what we had looked at, in fact, in your first assignment was the circuit. This is the circuit you had designed. The switch in that assignment was ideal. Now it turns out that in real life, and we'll discuss this later in a couple of lectures ahead, this switch is not going to be ideal and the switch will have a voltage drop across it. As a result, okay, give me a second here. Okay, this voltage Vx, which ideally would be 12 volts if when the switch is on, because of the non-ideality of the switch, this voltage may be between 10.6 and 11.3 volts. We'll see what it turns out to be when we actually design the switch. But for now, we'll assume that this Vx is going to be 10.6 to 11.3 volts and not 12 volts. Now, if you recall, the specs for the design of the buck converter are that you want the output to vary from 2 to 9 volts, to be able to vary from 2 to 9 volts. So the highest output you want is 9 volts. Now this is 9 volts, this is, let us say, 10.6 volts, the minimum value, so that we design for the minimum possible value. That decides the duty cycle of the switch, which determines, as you recall, the output voltage compared to the input voltage. So the duty cycle has to be 0.85 at the max. It will be lower if the output voltage required is lower. So this becomes a requirement for our design. The duty cycle maximum has to be 0.85 volts. Now let us see how that affects the op-amp. Okay, so here is the switch. This is a comparator. This is a gain of 100 amplifier. Well, okay, I have. So there are tractors passing outside, so I have to take a little pause. Okay. Here is a triangle wave. So right now we are working with a triangle wave. And let's assume for now that the triangle wave gives an output of plus minus 12 volts. The triangle wave oscillator also will design subsequently. Now, this, as you have seen last a little while ago, VO, which is the amplified version of the feedback voltage from the output of the buck converter, is basically a DC voltage in steady state. And as VO goes up and down, the duty cycle will change. So let's take two examples of this. We had seen this before, but just to refresh, what happens as VO changes to the duty cycle. So here is one example. So the green is the triangle wave. The blue is VO, the other input to the comparator, and the red is the output of the comparator. So as we can see, when the blue is higher than the green, the output is high. When the blue is lower than the green, the output is low. So the output of the comparator here I have assumed to be 12 volts and 0 volts. So here, for the output of the gain of 100 amplifier to be 0 volts, the duty cycle is 0.5 because this triangle wave goes from plus 12 to minus 12. The DC voltage is exactly at the middle, so the duty cycle is 0.5. The other one extreme is, let us say, oh, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be V0 equal to 12 volts. Maybe I'll change it. I think I can change it here. Okay, so this is if V0 is equal to 12 volts, then of course for the entire time V0 is above the triangle wave and the output stays high the whole time. So this is a duty cycle of 1. This is just one extreme case. This is not usable. Why is this not usable in our buck converter? Because we want a square wave that goes high and low and turns that switch on and off. If that switch is permanently on, then that buck converter simply doesn't work. You think about it, why it doesn't work. It's kind of obvious, but it is worth thinking about. Anyway, so this is the other extreme. So we say if V0 is 0 volts, the duty cycle is, so the previous slide, the duty cycle is 0.5. If V0 is 12 volts, the duty cycle is 1. Now we want that the duty cycle must go up to 0.85. So here we make a little table. We say duty cycle 1, the VO has to be 12 volts, duty cycle 0.5, V0 has to be 0 volts. And because the triangle wave is linear, we can extrapolate this, can just think of this as a straight line. And so we'll get, for a duty cycle of 0.85, that the output voltage of the gain of 100 amplifier must go up to 10.2 volts. So this becomes another requirement for the op-amp, that the output of the op-amp must go up to 10.2 volts. Okay, so let us summarize the requirements or the specifications of the op-amp. So we said the op-amp loop gain, open loop gain has to be greater than 5,000. The unity gain frequency, you recall we had talked about this in the last lecture. The unity gain frequency has to be greater than 100 times the switch-in frequency which you are given. 100 of course comes from the gain of the op-amp, and we want the output of the op-amp to go at least up to 10.2 volts. Higher is okay, lower is not okay. And also remember that we are given DC supplies of plus 12 volts and minus 12 volts, because this relationship to plus 12 and 10.2 is important. Okay, so these are the specifications. Now you have to find an op-amp that meets these specifications. So you're going to, how are you going to find? So here is a little note. So in SPICE, when you choose an op-amp, it will show you one or two of the specifications of the op-amp right there when you click on that op-amp number. But if you want to see all the detailed specs, you'll have to actually find the data sheet of the op-amp online and make sure that it meets all the required specs. So when you, in SPICE, when you choose, it will give you a number. Let's say AD8031 is an op-amp. So what you do is you go online and you look for the AD8031 data sheet. And in the data sheet, you search. I think you must have seen data sheets by now. They are large documents with zillions of different types of information. So you have to search and find the 3 specific things that you have to meet: the maximum output voltage, the unity gain frequency, and the open loop gain. All right, so that is that. And one more note about the op-amp. So we need 11.2 volts. No, I'm sorry, 10.2 volts is what you need with a supply of plus 12. Now the reason it is important is because not all op-amp outputs reach to plus 12 volts with a plus 12 volt supply. They will reach to a value smaller, sometimes plus 11 or 11.4, sometimes 10. It varies from one op-amp to the other. So you have to choose the op-amp carefully to make sure that it goes up to 10.2. So that is what I'm saying here. So how will you do that? How will you actually the data sheet should say it also, but just to make sure that the data sheet is the op-amp is doing what the data sheet says, it is a good idea to simulate the transfer characteristic and actually see that the op-amp output does go to 10.2. There's another simpler way of doing this. There is a class of op-amps called rail-to-rail amplifiers. And as soon as you see the word rail-to-rail, it implies that when you have a supply of plus 12 volts to the op-amp, the output will go up to plus 12 volts. Okay, one second. Yeah. So rail to rail means that for a positive supply of plus 12, the output will go to plus 12. And for a negative supply of minus 12, the output will go to minus 12 volts. So either you can choose an op-amp that goes up to 10.2, or you just look for a rail to rail op-amp. Then automatically it will go up to plus 12 volts, and that will be sufficient. Okay, now let's look at the comparator. The comparator is actually easier to search for. Well, I'm not sure if it's easier to search for, but the specs are easier. Let us put it that way. So the comparators are usually very fast, and they all generally have very high gain. So you really don't need to look at specifications for speed or frequency or gain. The only thing you have to look for is that it works up to plus 12 volts, because a large number of comparators are designed for voltages much lower. They are work up to 3 volts or 5 volts and so on. Now this specific application requires 12 volts. So you have to find an op-amp that works up to 12 volts, and you can apply a DC supply voltage of 12 volts, because if you take a comparator chip that works only up to 3 volts or 5 volts, and you apply 12 volts, it might just burn. So you have to choose a comparator which in the specification itself says in the data sheet that it goes up to 12 volts. So that's all you have to do. Okay, well, also it needs to be a rail-to-rail comparator, because just like the op-amp, for power supply of 12 volts, the output of the comparator may or may not go up to 12 volts. It will go up to 12 volts only if it's a rail-to-rail comparator. So those two things you have to look for in the comparator. It must work up to plus 12 volts, plus 12 and minus 12, because the input to the comparator is going to go up to minus 12. The output of the comparator does not need to go up to minus 12, because this is just the switch voltage. The output of the comparator is going to the switch, and the switch control voltage needs to go only from 0 to 12. It goes to minus 12, it's okay, but it's not required. You need to, so the comparator input will go from plus 12 to minus 12. The output will go from plus 12 to 0. So this is what you need to look for. All right. With this, you are ready to design your second assignment. Okay. No, sorry, one more thing. There is a class of comparators which have an open collector output. So this dashed line shows the inside of a comparator. So there's of course some big circuit. But at the output, there is one bipolar transistor, and the pin that comes out from the chip for the output pin is just floating. There's nothing connected to it. So imagine that the voltage here at the base of this transistor is high, then the transistor is on, but nothing is connected to it. So no current flows through it. And so this comparator does not work as it is. Or in order for it to work, you have to connect something to it. So usually what you do is you connect a resistor and then the supply voltage, the plus 12 volt here, and this resistor. So now with this, the comparator will work. So if you happen to choose a comparator chip that is an open collector comparator, make sure that you connect a resistor from the output pin to plus 12 volts, and the value of the resistor you have to determine. It will depend on two things. It will depend on, so when let us say the output is high, the current will flow into the transistor. Well, it will not only flow into, it will also flow to the next stage, which in our case is the switch. So you'll have to make sure, okay, for now, yeah, I think what you'll do is for now, you'll choose some value of the resistor. I would say maybe 1K or 5K or something. And then later you may have to change it once we design the actual switch. But remember this, so the choosing of the comparator, if you choose an open collector, make sure that you connect a resistor, otherwise it will simply not work. It will just give all wrong outputs. Okay, so now with this, you are ready to design your second assignment. So I'm setting the deadline for the assignment to be 9 a.m. Thursday, April 9th. Which should give you enough time. But actually, this is going to be probably one of the most, if you're lucky, this assignment will get done quickly. But if you're not and you're searching around and something goes wrong, then this may take longer. But I think 1 week should be enough because anyway, you're sitting at home doing nothing else. So I think it's okay. So here is the what is what I'm expecting in the submission. So you'll submit 2 files. This time I want you to submit the SPICE circuit file also, so that I can simulate it myself and see that it is working as it should. The previous one was too simple, and so I did not expect it. So you'll submit 2 files. One is the SPICE file, and the other is a PDF file with the 2 main things. One is the simulated plots of the output voltage, the inductor current, the output of the comparator, and the 2 inputs of the comparator. So I want 5 plots: output voltage of the buck converter, the inductor current, the output, and 2 inputs of the comparator. These last 3 for the comparator, please plot on top of each other. The other 2 you plot separately. Choose R1 and R2 such that the output DC voltage is 9 volts. So this is the highest possible voltage. And then, like the first assignment, draw these plots twice. Once for the entire duration of your simulation, another showing the details once the steady state is reached, so you can see the actual triangle wave and the square wave and the DC voltage. So this, and also what I want is you will choose the op amp and the comparator. So you find from the data sheet the specifications that are stated in this presentation, in this lecture. For the op amp, the gain, the unity gain frequency, and the maximum output voltage. So you just write them down from the data sheet. And for the comparator, just the voltage. What will you write for the comparator? Okay, you can write the same things as the op amp. You write the speed and the gain and the maximum output voltage the comparator goes to. So this you include in the PDF file. Okay, so that is that. I think we are done for this lecture. I'm going to stop now. I hope